Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on August 19th, 2023 at approximately 4:20 p.m. BST. And we did something a little weird here. There we are. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day to day life, and the philosophies of life I talk about are the ones I personally guide my own life by. So, this is not a question of here's a couple of tools that may work for you. These are tried and true methods, tried by myself where applicable, and where not applicable, such as how to turn around and quit smoking without withdrawals, smoking or drinking for that matter. Smoking, I never actually started, but I've had enough clients I've turned the tool over to that have contacted me again and said it worked like a charm, that I can quite comfortably stand behind it. Now, that said, before I go any further, we have Chad Smith with the man with the podcast coming in with the gold. Philip Blair is in here with the silver. And then we have Nathan with from the Quantum Show showing up with the bronze. And with that in mind, we take a look here and we go, Chad Smith, this is the link to Chad's live stream and to his archives for that matter. Okay, so absolutely hit the link, go check it out if you like what he has to say. Do give him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of it. Now, we also have Nathan here. And of course, in the case of Nathan, where are we here? This is the link to Nathan's show. Okay. See, the way I look at it is when people share their time with me and support me, the functionally least I can do, aside from doing my best to drop in on their sites when I can, is to absolutely share the link. And therefore, drop in, give Nathan a listen. If you like what he's saying, give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Now, I was going to cover this whole issue of mental toxicity in linguistics as it pertains to the paranormal, into the metaphysical world, and your prosperity yesterday. But thank you so much, guys, for every one of you that gave me ideas, gave me the encouragement to put things together. I'm still situated, as you can see, in my own apartment. Okay, so much as I've got everything packed that I could, I am still right where I was. And still sitting back. I just checked. As a matter of fact, I'll check that again right away here. Okay, I'm looking at my email to see if I've got any more warnings. There have been more warnings here, so the fire is by no means we are by no means out of danger, but we are safe. I've got everything pretty much packed. Okay, that I have to. Now, Philip, Paracon 19, was held obviously in 2019. I forget what day it was. Okay, but it was held by S4. Okay, and down in Skagit County in Washington State, where I went down. There was a lot of people that went down there. Okay, Joe, how you doing? Didn't see you sneak in there. Glad you could join us. The air is still rough. We're still getting an awful lot of smoke. Weird thing about a fire, get an awful pile of smoke. Okay, smells like a really, really heavy duty barbecue at this point. That one I'm not 100% certain of. All I know for sure is we went down Highway 97, crossed into the States, and then turned west on the I-20 and ran into it somewhere over at that end. But I honestly don't know where it is. This is why when I went down via Dave Scott. He picked me up here in Cologne and we drove down. But honestly, I really don't know, and we will ask again, when I see other people pop in here. We'll see if we can find out, because I wonder. Brilliant idea here. I'm sitting in front of my computer. What happens if we go open that and we go Skagit County? Hey, Skagit County, by the look of this, is just south of Bellingham. Yeah, it's south of Bellingham and north of Seattle, is the answer to your question. Now, other than that, I have no idea where the Columbia River is. How's that for subtle? Yeah, geography is not my real strong suit here. I'm lucky if I remember where my living room is in the house I'm living in. Okay, but I came down there when I came down back in 2019. We were talking about UFOs and what have you, because let's face it, Paracon pretty much says it all. We took the whole 9 yards with us. And you are more than welcome there, Nathan. Like I say, guys, if you've got a YouTube channel, whenever you show up here, you're sharing your time with me. It's only reasonable I do the same. But I know what my schedule looks like half the time. Now, when we talk about mental toxicity, okay, I've covered this a lot of times with a simple statement to you guys. Okay, whenever you read or listen to something negative, okay, whenever you subject yourself to negative energy, double that in positive. In other words, if you listen to a newscast that tells you who did what, and who stole from who ripped who off, who is embezzling from whom, whenever you're looking at that, the moment or who embarrassed who, okay, whatever you do, as soon as you look at one of them, take the time to look at two that are positive, be it an animal helping an animal, people helping people, things that show unity amongst people. This is something that'll help bring your energy level up. The other thing that will help is if you're starting to feel a little down, two big factors. Find the fastest dance-paced music that you personally like. Crank it as high as socially acceptable, and let it run in the background. Now, I will tell you, these do work. If you think about it, when you go to a doctor and they go, "Oh, you're not feeling well. Well, here's a really pricey pill with who knows how much toxicity to it. Take this to feel better." Now, do understand something very important. If you're dealing with modern medicine, okay, and you feel it's working for you, stick with it. Okay, do not stop your medication via modern medicine. If it's working, the odds are you're feeling better because of it. Now, the tools I talk about are ones to use in conjunction with whatever you're already doing. Okay, now myself, do I use medication? I did for a little while use St. John's wort. Okay. But then I'm on no other medication. From what I gather, St. John's wort can have an adverse effect when combined with other medications. I don't know where that lid went. What I do know is that, hey, that was not the right idea. Get my fan set up here so I can actually breathe. Now I'm just scanning down here. Philip's going, oh, I was totally confused. I've been thinking Skamania Company this whole time. Because Skamania Company is where Sasquatch is legally protected, with penalties for harming any Sasquatch. Bonus! But no, did we talk the reason for, the reason for the picture of Sasquatch here is because Eric Cooper, who set the whole thing up, okay, is very definitely in my opinion, a Sasquatch. He is a very strong supporter of Sasquatch. Okay. Joe's going, I do have a good question. I take ibuprofen 600 for my back and neck pain and eat and drink coffee pop for it to work better. It has dangerous side effects beyond belief, but they work. Now, I'm going to show you something here, but there is a Life brand. I don't know if you can get it there, Joe. There is a Life brand, medication that is called okay, we'll try that in English. Give me 10 seconds because I want to give you the right answer. Okay. I do not know if you can get this, Joe, but this is what I use. Okay. Now, understand, if I'm using standard acetaminophen, okay, to take the edge off of pain, I will take in excess of 8,000 milligrams at a shot. Ouch. But I've got an absolutely twisted system. The reason I bring that up is because this is a Life brand. This is what I use. Now, I can get it in Canada. I have no idea if you can get it in your end. It's over the counter here. You pull it right off the shelf. Okay. But it's called Life brand Extra Strength Muscle and Back Pain Relief. The important factor from your standpoint, aside from that, is it has, and I'm reading this straight off the label here, active ingredients are 500 milligrams of acetaminophen pain reliever and 400 milligrams of methylcarbamol muscle relaxant. Now this, when my back seizes, 2 of these usually do it for me, as compared to 16. Okay, I'm straight acetaminophen. Just something to consider. It works for me. This does not necessarily mean it's for you. Oh, okay. Well, the important part there is this stuff here. What's it called again? Called methylcarbamol. Okay. If you can find a medication that carries that utilizes that may help. Okay. Now, needless to say, I drink enough coffee to sink a battleship, but what the heck? Yeah, Joe's going, do you have a nutritionist in your family or a friend? Someone who's well read on evidence-based research on what works best with least side effects. Honestly, I've got somebody that is to a degree, but not in the pharmaceutical side. I've got somebody that is very versed in the naturopathic methods, not a family member. I used to have a family member that was a trained LPN, but, well, he died over a decade ago. So I don't talk to him in person much anymore. Shadow, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, let us see here. Go down here and we find Shadow. There we are. Now again, guys, this is the link to Shadow and Son's live stream. So give it a listen. If you like what he's saying, do give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Now, when we're talking mental toxicity, oh, Shadow, you're not late. You got to remember, in the words of the illustrious Gandalf, a wizard is never late. A wizard always arrives at precisely the time they intended. I'm having a decent weekend. I didn't have to move. Okay, the fire's still raging all over the place, but at least I didn't have to move. I'm still going to keep an eye on things. Mental toxicity really boils down to this. Okay, if you're thinking negative thoughts, if you're thinking you cannot do it, if you're buying into somebody telling you you're not good enough, okay, anytime you look at anything that sets you back and hinders your progress, you're looking at the toxic side of things. That toxic belief will stop you from succeeding. Okay, now I've come to the understanding that as long as I don't pay attention to people that are telling me I can't do it, I can turn things around. Now, I had a meeting the other day. Like I said, I'm building an empire, starting with the consulting and with the publishing side. Now, I'm just waiting for a call back to find out whether I get in. But of course, I run into the same problem. They were supposed to send me paperwork on Friday. They did not. So I got to phone them on Monday and find out, because I hope Monday is not a statutory holiday. Let me see what Monday is. Okay, Monday is the 21st. So that's okay. I've still got lots of time to work with, because I got till the 8th to put it in. So I'm not behind the 8 ball at all. Oh, Ferret, thank you so much for that thought. Yesterday, when I went to talk about the toxicity and what have you, almost everybody in the room was giving ideas on what to make sure I had in my pack. Right now, my go bag is sitting right on the well, you can see it here. I haven't closed it because it's the last one that goes. But I've already got the back of my van, or the back of my SUV, already full of stuff that I may need, including stuff that I may desire to keep, including stuff that I really hadn't thought about. Like, for instance, I've got a family Bible that I was entrusted with. Okay, now we are talking something that dates back a couple of 100 years. Okay, so that went into a box and out to the back of the van, out to the back of the SUV. Okay, I've already got dry food, canned food with the can opener, lots of water out there, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so yeah, definitely on top of that. Oh, things are absolutely horrible up here. But I have been keeping very close eye, and we're not actually getting, we're not actually getting any sort of we're not getting a lot more expansion on it. And we'll see where things go from that end. But again, I can look at all the news. I don't. Okay, I do keep an eye on the emergency alerts. But what I found was this. Okay, if I concentrate on what could go wrong, I will get very scrambled, just like most people. So I just look at it going, yep, this place could go up in smoke overnight. I'm prepped to go. I can grab my bag, seal it up, and out the door. I grab that, I grab my coat, grab my cane, and I'm gone. I don't have to grab anything else. Well, sorry, what would happen if I get that last minute call? Okay, I can go, I'm going to lose everything. But I unplug in this computer, I'll just leave sit here. Okay, because it's hooked up to all my peripherals. I'll yank the zip drives off the clip, take it with me. Okay, it'll go straight into my bag. I've got another computer up front, and it's a laptop. Fold it closed. It's the one I was working on before this one. So it's got all the programs in it. Fold that up into the go bag, and away I go. Okay, so I will be fine on that end. But the catch is this. Okay, I look at it going, I'm not going to have to move. I just don't desire to. Okay, so I'm just staying focused on the idea of this is precautionary work, and I'm going to look at the idea that it's not going to go out that way. Okay, now I have heard all sorts of things, but that's okay. Something that worked out really well in my eyes, there is something good that has come out of this whole thing. And this is that idea of mental toxicity. All of this terrible stuff is going on. And what do I go and do? I go, well, it did encourage me to look for the important medical papers that I've got that I hadn't gotten around to tracking down again, get them all bagged up, and they're in the go bag ready to go. Okay, this is just the way it is there. So from that end, I could buy into the negative. I don't see the purpose. I did, however, catch wind in the middle of all of this fire, all this tinder dry stuff. There were a couple of idiots, and I do mean that literally, decided to set off fireworks. Okay, and this was on Thursday night. The police had an APB out for them. Okay, looking for them. I found out today that sometime on Friday morning, Friday afternoon, they had two guys in a car pulled aside. The car was being pulled apart. The guys were already in custody. Now, I think that those were the same two guys that were lighting off fireworks. Okay, now I'm just looking up here. So I might be a little behind. That wouldn't be a shock. But that's the good news side of it. Okay, if you're going to be that dense, for pity's sakes, be prepared to deal with it. Now, Phil's just going, I never had a conversation with a formerly alive loved one, but I've seriously considered using the method in the book, Reunions, to have a conversation with my grandma. Absolutely, I've read Reunions, quite a while ago. I think anyway. I know of the book anyway. And like I said, I'm not the only one that knows how to do this sort of thing. So if you haven't given my methods a shot, absolutely do so. Okay, but they work for and they have worked for a lot of people. Yeah. I'm just looking at the tail end of what Ferret was putting. Ferret goes, get a go bag ready. Things look horrible there, so very scary. Not a holiday. No, I am not prepped for a holiday. I've got a little bit of clothing. And, the reality is, if I end up having to wear the same shirt for 3 or 4 days, I'm going to live with it. I would rather have to wear the same shirt 3 or 4 days than burn to death and die. Because I've already tried the dying thing. I just don't like the idea of burning to death. Let's see. Phelps goes, I found a tool to do exactly what you say, to push back against all the negative thoughts. Constantly have about myself. It's an album by then Cassius Clay called I Am the Greatest. Oh, yeah, Cassius Clay, a.k.a. Muhammad Ali. Brilliant man when it came to self-motivation. And this is one of the reasons, one of the primary reasons why I put so much weight in this little sign. Okay, I am worth it. The four most powerful words in any language I've ever come across regarding, I'm going to go into sign spinning. I don't think so. Regarding rebuilding self-esteem, self-motivation, self-worth, that sort of thing. It really boils down to setting your mind on what you can accomplish. Okay, it really does. Now, what do we got here? Yeah, Jesse Ventura partly attributes his success to listening to this album every day when he was a teenager. Yeah, this is absolutely, and especially, Philip, if it's working for you, absolutely do it. Now, the other thing is, okay, mental toxicity boils down to, are you putting more weight in? Oh, I can't do that. I'm not good enough to do that. Let's cover the art side of things for a half minute. And I've talked to you about this before. Yeah, no doubt, Nathan. Nathan goes, same shirt, 3 days. Pah, that's one gaming session. The reality of it is this. Okay, whether you believe you can or you believe you cannot, in either event, you're likely to prove yourself correct. Okay, now the one thing I will tell you, when you're looking at getting ahead, yeah, no, well, you are right there, Ferret. And the thing is, I like, yes, I wear the same shirt a lot, but you got to realize I got a washing machine in my apartment. This works out rather nicely. If you're looking in the mirror and telling yourself what you're not capable of, let's take a look at the whole idea. I tell you, I'm not good at painting. Okay. And I'm not a professional at it. Okay. Still haven't gone down to the shop. But okay. Now, at least I can get this colored the right color now. Used to be colorblind. But this is not, fantastic work. It is fabulous from my standpoint. Okay. But I knew of a chap, I talked to him, an absolute millionaire. But he took a standard canvas. Okay. Actually, I can show you sort of what I'm referring to. Yes, clearly I'm going to be mobile. Like I said, I am not an artist. But he took a sheet this same size. What picture is that? Oh, that's what it is. Okay. He took a sheet this size, like a canvas, a little bigger than this. Same color. Painted the whole thing off-white. Okay, and that was it. Put a baseboard wood frame on it. Called the whole thing white out. And turned around and sold the thing for $1 million. Now, I don't know about this, but would you pay $1 million for something that size, never mind that simple? But this is why I don't tell people what is good. I don't want to actually cripple myself here and make an absolute disaster. There we go. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so this is why I say if you can paint better than just playing white out on, you should be in good shape. Now, what do we got here? Yeah. Philip goes, after listening to the album, I got a yellow pad out to write down the umpteen negative thoughts that I beat myself up with and start working on what Dr. Amen calls anteaters, to eat my ants. Okay, also known as to eat the negative thoughts. And, the nice little part about it, is whatever method is working for you, this is great. Emmy, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, this is why I won't tell people, oh, you're not a good enough painter. You're not a good enough artist. You're not a good enough singer. Okay. I'm not going to tell you whether you're good enough. I'm going to tell you that you have to do one little detail. Well, you don't have to. It's your call. Okay. Where is the one I want? Finance, it should be this one. One of the drawbacks of writing so many is you end up having to go through all of them because you ever notice when you're looking for something, it's pretty much always found in the last place you look for it. But this little booklet, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. Okay. The reality of it is, this is the backbone to how I turned my life around and how thousands of others have done the same. Okay. So it really is a case of what works for you. Okay. And this is what this whole thing is about. Well, Emmy, you are correct. We haven't even gotten an evacuation alert. Okay. However, because of the fact that it is kind of a dicey situation here, I do already have a go bag packed. That's over there. This little bag here will be packed the rest of the way. There's a few things I want to drop in, and I desire to drop into that. Okay. Other than that, if we get an alert, if we get an evacuation notice, as I mentioned to other people a little earlier, I grabbed the zip drives off of this computer. They're already all backed up with my current work. Yank them out. Grab my coat. Okay. Grab my coat. Grab my cane. Grab the laptop up front, which is still operational, still has all the programs on it, and fold it up, and I'm out the door. Okay. Because I've already got the bags ready to go. Okay. So we will be fine if we have to. Okay. Yeah, Philip goes, if Mozart was told he wasn't good enough when he started composing music when he was 3 years old, wouldn't have the beautiful music he went on to write all those years later. Absolutely. Same as with Beethoven. Now, I'm lucky. Okay. In as much as I was told by one person that nothing I ever did would ever amount to anything. And that played havoc with me. But you never really are certain who's going to produce what. Okay. And I will tell you, like right now, I mean, you think about it. Colonel Sanders, and he's a guy that I've been watching that I've always held sort of on a bit of a not a pedestal, but as a marker. Now, Colonel Sanders, when he was 65, my understanding is that was when he opened his first chicken stand. 4 months later, he closed the doors on it. And a month after, because they wouldn't do exactly what he said. So he closes the door. A month later, he reopens, hires a bunch more people, and today he's a household name. I intend on doing the exact same thing with the publishing company. I intend on making it happen. Whether I've got the support of the government or the support of Community Futures is not my relevant concern. whether I've got the support of people like yourselves, that will really help immensely. Because let's face it, if Colonel Sanders did not have the support of the people around him that were buying his chicken, he wouldn't have become the icon he is. Okay. So, and again, guys, if you like this stream, do me a favor and give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. You know, that will really be appreciated. Now, I am taking what I'm going to do. Well, what I'm doing is taking this and taking the publishing company and taking everybody with me that I can. Okay, it's that simple for me. Oh, ouch. Derek, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And I absolutely appreciate that there, Derek. Derek saying, hey, everyone, say prayers for the people down near Colombia. They had 2 earthquakes back to back yesterday. We need to pray up for our planet. A lot of things happening. Here's the thing. Now, I mentioned a while ago to people that Itza, now you know her as Earth, Mother Nature, Gaia. I know her as Itza. Okay. She is upset. She is hurting. Okay. It is time that we start working together as an entire unit and start putting things back on track. Okay. The earthquakes, the hurricane, because there was also, I heard there's a hurricane coming in off of the west coast of California. Okay. That is also a little bit of a complication. Well, that's kind of like asking, ultimately, Derek, in a way, yes. Because, and don't get me wrong, it's being aggravated by the amount of negativity that is being propagated against the world, and I mean against the earth itself, and the segregation being promoted amongst the peoples hereon. Okay, but when you're looking at this 25,000 year cycle, you got to remember what's happening here is Esau is breathing. It's that simple. Okay, mankind's pollution is not helping the situation. I'm referring to the chemicalogical pollution, not the atmospheric. The atmospheric being people looking at each other and going, oh, you're too dark a color, so you're wrong. You're a bad person. Or, oh, you're worshiping the wrong person, therefore you're evil. Okay. Tell you what the wrong person and the wrong thing, in my opinion, to worship is. Things like this. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean the medication, I mean drugs. Okay. When you start treating your body with the respect it deserves, you'll find it heals a lot faster. Now understand, I'm not perfect. I'm absolutely an anomaly. Bryson, how you doing? Bryson's Folly has managed to arrive. Okay. And yeah, Bryson, the age of Aquarius is upon us, the age of understanding. This is when we start pushing our understanding of what's going on. Okay. But we don't have to wait another 1,000 years to gain the wisdom around it. Okay. We can implement that right now. Right here, right now. It's up to you to look at it, though. Okay, or more to the point, it's up to you to act upon it. Now, I was talking about mental toxicity and linguistics. Okay. Bryson, like Bryson goes, I've been listening but not commenting because I have little to contribute other than love, support, thoughts, and prayers. Honestly, Bryson, that is a staggering benefit. And most people don't just get it. Okay. They really don't. See, yeah, Nathan goes, as for me, not worried about changing society. It doesn't want me. I'll be helping people I know personally. And the reality is, Nathan, when you help the people you know personally, okay, we take a look at the idea of the 6 degrees of separation. Okay, meaning I know somebody, they know somebody, and 6 steps down the road, that 6th person knows you. Now, in my case, I already know you, so we're good. Well, I don't know, you'll have to figure that out. So one of the nicest things that we can look at is when people help the people around them. That is changing society. Okay, when you take a rock and you push it over the edge of a cliff and it starts to tumble and picks up a few rocks with it, this is changing the course of society. When one drop of water changes direction, okay, and it starts and others are affected, that will ultimately change the direction the stream is going. Want proof of that one? Take a look at the Grand Canyon. Okay, now, this said, a couple of words in any spoken language I have found are rather debilitating. And I'm going to go over them. I would recommend you write them down. Okay. But these apply to any language I've come across, whether it's spoken, written, sign language, doesn't matter, even if it happens to be pheromonal. Okay. And I'm not just talking about the 4 words, I am worth it. You've heard me say, I want something and I'll stop myself right mid-sentence and go, no, I desire such and such. So with that in mind, one of the words, and I'll give you I've got 6 listed right here. I was looking, I used to have 9 down and I gotta go find them again, but I know there are 12. Eternity, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I hope your day has been going well. Now, couple of words. Now, I know there are 12. I've got 6 listed right in front of me, and I've got to go back and look at the others. But, first off the bat, take the word can't. Whenever you utter that word. Now, understand, if you're talking and you think a negative thought, you're drawing that energy in. The moment you give it verbal or visual cohesion, in other words, the moment you write it down or you utter it, you're adding energy to it and drawing it out of the etheric plane into the material world where it can be made manifest. Now, whether you believe you can do something or you believe you can't, ultimately, you're likely to prove yourself correct. Okay, so what we're looking at is the word can't. Whenever you utter that word, change it. Stop yourself mid-sentence. Like, oh, I can't do, well, wait a minute. Yeah, I can do it. I'm just choosing not to. Okay, take the can't and change it to can. This is a way of amplifying your ability. And Philip, that's exactly what I was intending on. Okay. Animals have the same ability. It also, by the way, pheromonal also refers to plants who also talk in terms of scent. Okay. By the way, I will tell you, if you're running, and I know a few of you will ever do this, but if you're running a locomotive in high country and you see a moose on the track, do not blow the horn, do not blow the whistle. The moose will take that as a challenge and the train will lose. Speaking of which, this little piece of equipment here, this is the result. This thing here is the result, the last remaining piece of a 15 car cargo train where the engineer did blow the warning or the whistle. And the moose took offense to it and dumped the train on the ground. But that little piece has to go with me, which means when I get done this stream, it'll go out to the car just on principle. Not that it will burn and that it will be destroyed if it gets caught in a fire. That's actually a part of a railway track. Okay, now that's the one word, can't. You replace it with the word can. Okay. Another word to look at is the word want. Okay, or the word need. Either want or need. They both have the same effect. I don't know. Give me a minute. I might be able to actually answer that. Let's just take a peek at that, shall we? See, this is what's called going sideways. Now I pick this up and get it out of the way. See if that's actually small enough to fit. Good. That, by the way, is a scale that I just went picking up to utilize. Now, if I take this thing, okay. In answer to your question, this little monster is 15 pounds. Well, 15.6. 15.6 pounds solid steel. Now, I mean, it's a railroad, and we're part of a railway track. Okay, so the word want and the word need. Okay, when you utter those, it sounds reasonable in linear thinking, with today, tomorrow, and yesterday being standard time, being time. It sounds reasonable. If you don't have something, it makes sense to say, I want such and such. The problem with that, is that when you do that, what the universe hears is, I desire to experience a lack of whatever it is. Okay, whether you're saying I want that or I need that, the universe is hearing, I desire to experience a lack of whatever. And thereby the universe turns around, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. That I have no idea. But I do know that Philip's going, I wonder how much weight a moose can pull. I'm curious. Let's just take a look at this. How much weight can a healthy 1,600 pound moose pull? Now, the reason I picked the 1,600 for the weight was because of the fact that was the size of the moose that derailed the train. Now I'm just looking at this. See, this doesn't really tell me much. This actually doesn't, so I don't know if it's never been done, but, okay, the fact of the matter is they pull a lot. I mean, you think about it. a husky, as in a sled dog, can pull a staggering amount of weight. A moose, it's not so much what they can pull that matters, it's what they can impact. Because it's that rack of theirs that causes the problem. But the moment you utter the word want or the word need, cut yourself off and change it, as I'm sure you've heard me do more often than not. You change either one of those to desire or choose. Because you see, I can have my Coke in my hand and I can go, I desire to have my Coke. Okay, or I desire to have a drink. Now, I can't say that while I'm drinking because I'll spill my Coke. Okay, but you can have something in your possession that you desire to have or that you choose to have. But the moment you start telling yourself you want it, you're expressing a desire to experience a lack. And I know that's not what you're intending on. Okay. Now, that being said, now you'll notice I'm going through these relatively quickly, simply so we've got room to work. And by the way, if you've got a question that comes up that isn't of the topic we're talking about right now, absolutely put it in the chat room. As a matter of fact, give it make sure you put at least part of it in all caps. That way I can see it. Okay. And if you either all caps, partial caps, or at least put that wavy hand in. That way I know you've got a question. I will do my best to spot it. If I don't answer it in a reasonable amount of time, absolutely let me know. As in repost it. Okay, now another word that is very self-debilitating is when you start utilizing the word if. Now, if is great for speculation. If this happens, then this will happen. But the thing that scares most people is not what if I'm successful. That's not what most people literally do not fear being a failure or failing at something. Most people are ready for it. Okay, you've experienced loss. Okay, but what scares a lot of people is what if you didn't make a mistake? What if you chose the right path? Okay, and you became successful. Now, I'm going to throw something out here. Where is it? Not there. I think I'm looking for something that showed up in my inbox. Let me see here. Was it there? No, don't know where it is offhand. I got sent an email and I don't know offhand where it is at this point. But I got asked a really intriguing question. And I just love your guys' input. Okay. I haven't looked into it very far. But I got an email from somebody asked, oh, that's because it wasn't in my email. It was in there. I got a message on Messenger. Okay. Somebody asking me, and bear in mind I have not said yes. Okay, as a matter of fact, I told the guy, until I have a better understanding, I'm not saying yes to anything. This guy laid out a whole pile of things that are really beneficial and asked me if I would be willing to join the Illuminati. Now, curiosity, and I realize that this is a really sideways trip, but curiosity, what is your take on it? What is your take on it? You're absolutely right there, Philip. Caps in here is not shouting. It's because I'm 3/4 blind. And if you don't put in, well, that's an overstatement. But I don't always notice the little wee things. Okay. But what is your guys' take on whether or not joining the Illuminati? And I do not mean buying into what they're saying. Okay. Because I never have been good at the following thing. Football, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I'm doing as well as can be expected. I mean, the smoke is rough even on my lungs. But I am still healthy. Needless to say, my outlook is still the same. You know, I get a kick out of it because, normally people don't come out and make a personal invite. And yes, I did see that. Derek goes, I would tell that person to kick rocks and break toes. Presumably, you're referring to breaking their own toes. I mean, there's a lot I can do with several $1 million. The fact of the matter is, I'm going to have it anyway. Well, in all fairness, if I've got 100,000, if I've got 200,000 in my own hand, 800,000 of that has gone back to the community. I've already started saying that recipe in motion. Philip, that's an excellent way of looking at it. Philip goes, if the Illuminati is a state of mind, I'm already a member. I've always appreciated honesty, integrity, and reason. Yeah, I'm not one. I appreciate all of those. I'm not one for, if you will, doing what I'm told. Aside from this, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Kind of an important thing to follow the guidelines on. Have I told the guy to flock off? No, because he's been polite. And let's face it, like I said, everybody is entitled to their own belief structure. Absolutely. Yeah, the neat thing there, football. Olivia Newton-John is the one artist that I would have while she was alive. I wouldn't, and now, in all fairness, if she starts putting on a concert while she's dead, I'll go anyway. Okay, but that was the one artist I would have paid to go and see. But this is why I said I am building the whole backbone. The whole backbone of what I'm looking at is building an overall healing center where everybody can heal. And I don't mean just a pat on the back, oh, you're doing good now, out into the real world, and let's see you play a live game of Frogger. Although there are people I would like to see that happen. And no, that's not a very nice thing to say. Not a very spiritual outlook, but it is a real one. Yeah, I didn't get the opportunity to see her in concert. Nathan goes, a friend of mine was approached by the Knights Templar Descendant Organization. He was interviewed, but not overtly. He was talked to in a way my friend didn't realize it. Yeah. And unfortunately, this is one of the things I've run into the Illuminati before. Okay, and yes, I could buy into their hullabaloo of, you can get this and this many millions of dollars and this much kind of help. The reality of it is, I'm all for accepting money and accepting help. I'm not good at doing it with strings attached, which in all fairness is why, what the heck was his name? I don't know. Martial arts guy, Jet Li's his son. Oh, Bruce Lee, there we go. He wouldn't buy into it either. See, I like the spiders and snakes. We had an interesting situation. When I was growing up, we had an interesting problem. We had 2 acres of hay. My mom and my dad were not overly impressed with snakes, but the guy across the road had 7 or 9 acres. Okay, and he had a mouse problem. So we went hunting snakes every spring, collected them all up, took them across the road, and dropped them in the neighbor's yard. Our snake problem was dealt with. His mouse problem was dealt with. We were all, and of course, the snakes all had something to eat. The only guys that came up short were the mice, and they were short to start with. But no, I just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, I'm going to sneeze. I hate that. Anyway, another word that we had, I'm going to sneeze in the middle of it. Yeah, absolutely they are. And, the funny thing there, Philip, is not only is the connection between the brain and the body necessary, but the connection between your spiritual outlook, the way you think, and your physical body all apply. They all contribute to whether or not you're going to be successful in your eyes. Now, another word to take a look at is the word if. Okay, if such and such happens. Now, if is a great thing where we're talking about mathematics. Okay, if A equals B, then C equals D sort of thing, which is fine. But if you change, most of the time, take the word if when we're talking in terms of speech, instead of using the term, if I can do this, like if I can build an empire, then I will do all of this. Change that to when I build this empire, this is what I will do. Well, I've already got an empire. It's just a wee little one. Okay. And then kind of like Aladdin and his lamp. All kinds of power. Itty bitty living space. I don't mind the itty bitty living space. Okay. Less cleanup to do. But you take that word if. Okay. Instead of going, if I can accomplish this, you go, when I do accomplish this. So from that, this is one of those neat little things that you can do. YouTube, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Did I miss somebody coming in here? I'm just looking because YouTube University. Oh, okay, that was bad. I'll stop looking for the name. Yeah, I was, I've been doing my best to get things sorted around. Tech and I always have almost always have complications. I had a meeting with Community Futures, who I've talked to you about before, and I keep telling them technology and I argue with each other. Not only, a Zoom meeting, you should just hit the Zoom meeting comes in, you get the link, you should just hit the link and you're good to go. In my case, that didn't work. Okay. Philip, the whole idea of social engineering is this. If the powers that be can convince you that what you're doing is wrong and only following their lead is going to bring you the happiness you desire, then you will do what they ask. Now, I'm telling you, the methods I talk about, whether you do it or not is up to you. They have worked for me. Well, more to the point, they work for me and have worked for many, many hundreds of people. Okay. They have worked quite frankly, they've worked for thousands of people over the years. And the fact of the matter is, for me, my goal is to give you the tools where you can turn around and make your life better in your eyes. Okay. I don't figure anybody's going to act like I do. Okay, I really don't. I do not have the capacity, and that's a clinical capacity, to think like other people. But this doesn't mean that we don't have the same capacity to succeed. Okay, I am physically built differently, and no, I'm not going back to play lab rat to have somebody quantify it. Okay, if you ever sit down and talk to me in person, you'll find I'm exactly the same way, except I don't use my hands quite so much. But you take the word if, and instead of using the word if, if I can do this, or if I do this, it's not if you do it, it's when you do it. Okay. And when you make that commitment to yourself, never mind anybody else. I agree with you wholeheartedly there, Philip. My dad asked me about going to the military. Before the military turned around and went, wait a minute, you're epileptic. We cannot put an epileptic in the military. And, I don't know, they said something about automatic weapons and epileptic seizures. Apparently, it's dangerous. So, what do these same geniuses do? They take a really good friend of mine who is a clinical paranoid schizophrenic, clinical medicated paranoid schizophrenic, and the same government that told me that they won't put me in the military, which quite frankly I'm quite grateful for. Much as I applaud the people that step into the military, step into the first responders jobs, much as I applaud them for their efforts, okay, I did not want to make it my job to kill somebody because somebody else didn't like them. And like my dad says, well, every job isn't that way, isn't about that. I looked at him and I says, I don't desire to be the guy supplying the weapons to the people that are killing people because somebody else didn't like them. So fortunately, when the military came out and said, sorry, you're epileptic, you're not going, I'm like, bonus. So I didn't have to go. Did the same thing for me for Jim, by the way. And I do appreciate that, Nathan. I really do. From my standpoint, it really boils down to this. That word if I can focus, I can focus. The problem is I keep permitting myself to go elsewhere with my mind. Now, another important word, impossible. Okay, look at the word the way that word is. Okay, if you take a look, and when you take a look at the word impossible, okay, if you break that down, or more to the point, when you break it down, instead of going, it's impossible, take a look at it and go, I'm possible. Meaning, whatever you put your mind and your heart towards, this is what you stack the deck in favor of accomplishing. Now, yeah, I'm 60 at this point. Okay, but bearing in mind, most people look at it and go, I'm going to live to be 70 or 80. So by the time they hit 40, they're at their midlife. I'm only just hitting from my goal line. I'm only just hitting my mid-year and my midlife. Okay, I'm aiming at reaching 137 years. Now, this means I've got another 77 years in a functionally healthy body. Okay. Now, I know that sounds like such a weird stretch, but at 5 years old, they diagnosed me dead and I walked out of the morgue. I'm thinking it doesn't necessarily apply that I have to die. Football's going, it's so interesting. The males in the U.S. have to register with selective services to see if you qualify for financial aid for college. Yeah. Ultimately, you're absolutely correct there, Philip. Now is the only time you can accomplish anything. I mean, it's bizarre. You know, I'm just looking at this comment the football made. You know, that in the U.S., males have to register with Selective Service to see if you qualify for financial aid. The reality is they've got all the information already. You know, from my standpoint, I look at it this way. I've got my mind set on a dream. That set is what's going to keep me going. This is why I get up in the morning and go, I'm still going to continue breathing. Okay. Now, here's another word that I have definitely found self-debilitating in any language I've come across. The word try. Now, you've heard the concept, if at first you don't succeed, try again. The word try, by its simple phrase, sets you up for failure. Because if you try, you admit the possibility and thereby create the reality of failure. Okay, so you go, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Roughly translated, if at first you don't succeed, fail, and continue failing until you get bored with it. However, a minor change, okay, and this is the one I live by, when at first you do succeed, go do something else. Okay, now I've already got, like, I watched a program, I watched a presentation that said they could show me how to take a book and get it into print from thought to print in 10 weeks. It just so happened I watched that after I put one in print after 3 weeks of work. You are essentially correct there, Philip. I believe that is the way it put it. This shirt came, when I went down to the Paracon in 2019, Eric Cooper, who organized it, turned this shirt over to me. Okay, and that's why it's here. Can't see it while I'm sitting down, can you? So let's not pay attention to my wonderful physique, shall we? But there you have it. Okay, that's Cedro Willow, Washington. Again, not impressed with my physique, so I'm going to leave the shirt down. Am I open to going and speaking at another conference? Certainly. You know, absolutely I will. I just haven't been asked. I am now actively looking for different channels to go and actually promote my different books on, specifically. Don't get me wrong. I am not stopping the work on the races of the worlds and that sort of thing. You know, to me, it doesn't make sense. Oh, I know. I understand that all too well. On the other hand, it is cooler than coffee is. I mean, think of it this way. At least if I die, I can rot everything out of my system. But if you think this one's bad, you should try. Now, that's a bottle, right? That's a bad drink. Here's a worse one. You know, and to think, I sit down, I drink one of those in one sitting. I used to sit down and drink one of those in one sitting. Now, this one's still got a half, but that's also a bottle that is 6 years old now. Yes, Crown Royal. Frankly, it's my drink of choice. But I used to kill a 26er in one sitting without even thinking about it. Not a brilliant idea. What do we got here? Oh, you would have loved when I pulled on a guy. I'm just looking at this physique thing and going sideways with it here. I turned around. I was sitting in the bar one day, and a guy come up to me, and I mean, he was built like he was really powerfully built. Muscle wise, he was solid, he was toned, he was not a steroid junkie. But he turned around, and he starts speaking off about how good he is, how strong he is, how powerful he is, etc., etc. And then, of course, everybody around him was looking at him like, you're full of what? And I finally got fed up. I looked at the guy and I says, look, yeah, you've got a solid body, no problem. But I will let you know, I have the body of a god under this t-shirt. Okay. And, I was in worse shape than I am now. And the guy looks at me and goes, you have the body of a god? I looked at him and I says, yeah, Buddha. Well, shut him right up. It worked out beautifully. And what are we doing here? Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is, I agree. In all fairness there, Derek, I had the same assessment, but I really don't care. I am, from my standpoint, it really boils down to this. If people treat each other decently, that is the important factor. Let's see. Yeah, your hubby likes Ryan 7. I used to drink, I still drink Ryan Ginger, but honestly, when I was drinking heavily, I used to drink Rye Neat. I suspect he was afterwards. Unfortunately, people like that, I don't have a lot of use for them. It's like I end up running into, I've never been really powerfully built. I never had any functional drive for it, which is also why I've never been really powerfully financed. Except for a year ago, 2 years ago, when my parents died, I ended up with $100,000 in my pocket. That didn't last long, right? I ended up giving away over 70% of it to help other people. Not necessarily my brightest move, but it was necessary at the time and worth it at the time. Now, in all fairness, I don't think, Derek, I don't think I've ever heard of Goldschlager. Okay. My favorite drink was the one in the glass, because I would get handed everything from spare screwdrivers, Tom Collins, whiskey sours. It didn't matter. They'd put it on the table in front of me. I'd drink it. Never got a hangover from it. But I did find out one very, very important factor. I never got a hangover. My metabolism was too high. And it turns out if you never get sober, you never get a hangover. That I absolutely did. Over half of that money put a roof over somebody's head. Now, whether I get the money back or not is anybody's guess. Because did I do something stupid with it? In some people's eyes, yes. But money has never made me look at the world any differently. Although the next chunk of money coming in, I'll be sitting in good shape. You take care there, Ferret. I do appreciate you sharing your time with us. When we take a look at the word try, okay, literally change your thinking from when I try something to when I do it. Okay, because quite seriously, things can go wrong, absolutely. But if you focus on the positive side and you keep building on the positive things that are happening, you'll find your life changes for the better in a real hurry. Okay. And honestly, this funny little book did it for me. Okay. It literally starts off with a real simple technique. Okay. I start off by suggesting that we do one odd thing. Okay. That one odd thing is real simple. Let's get started right now. And everybody give it a shot. I'm not going to do it. Well, I do. Everybody smiles in their own way, but here's the thing. Let's start a pandemic. Okay. And what I mean by that is everybody you meet, whether it's a stranger, a friend, a family member, somebody you don't like, smile at them. Period. It is, in my opinion, from what I gather, it takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown. And it's the one gift that costs absolutely nothing but a tiny bit of effort to make and give to somebody. And it's the only gift I know of that nobody complains when you give it back. You know, what do we got here? Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. Something I came across where it came to Ritalin. And do understand, I have not done any of the research. Okay. I was on cocaine for a while, doing a minimum of 6 lines a day. Minimum. But what I came to understand, or what I was told, was that Ritalin literally activates the exact same receptors that cocaine does, except it's legal. Now, I do not know whether this is right, wrong, or indifferent. It is simply what I was told. Okay. I think the funniest one I ever pulled was I was in the bar one day, and this other guy, he wasn't boasting about how strong he was, but you could tell by looking at him that he was very well put together, right? And he turns around, and when we got introduced, he took my hand and went to shake it, but he did that stupid thing, and he clamped down on my hand with everything he had. Well, I let my hand go relaxed. And if you take a look at my hand now, I've got it out straight, obviously. He put all the pressure he could. And that's without very much pressure. And I just let my hand collapse. So, of course, and you can't tell this on here because I'm not going to do it that tight. But he took my hand and he crushed it. And you could hear the bones separate. Well, I did all the appropriate things. I winced and I groaned in pain. I let my knees buckle. Bear in mind, you're in a crowded bar. And of course, he pulls back and he lets his hands back. And he goes, "Oh, I'm so terribly sorry. I didn't mean to do it to hurt you." And I'm sitting there. I've got my face all crunched up because I'm in pain, lots of pain. So I've got my hand I've got my hand like this, and I turn around. It's all gimped up. I went, "Dang, I hate when that happens." I reached and got myself another drink. Well, the poor guy nearly turned chalk white on me. I'm a firm believer that, go with the flow. And since I got floating bones in my hands in the first place, it seemed reasonable to me. Not entirely certain he saw it the same way. See, I'm looking at this. Derek goes, strawberry daiquiris mixed with Captain Morgan by the campfire was good times. I will tell you. Oh, heavens no. My hand, because of the way my hands are, number one, didn't damage the hand at all. But boy, it separated all the fingers. Right, it separated all the fingers out of the first knuckle. And then I just had to pop them all back into place. But no, when we're looking at the alcohol here, I used to run with the SCA, the Society for Creative Anachronism. Well, I was drinking heavily at the time, so I wanted a bottle that looked medieval. I found the best wine in the world in the form of a wine called Black Tower. Now, do understand, first of all, the thing that drew my attention was the pattern of the bottle looked medieval, so it looked appropriate. Well, considering I was 5'8" and 5'9" at the time, 5'10" at the time, he had to be 6'3", 6'4", because I only came up to his chin. Okay. So, I mean, he was a big boy. But no, when I got into drinking Black Tower, the wine at the top of the first bottle is not great. The wine at the bottom of the fourth bottle is some of the smoothest you'll ever find. Essentially, Philip, the Society for Creative Anachronism, it was started in California, I believe, in 1966-ish, early 1960s. A history teacher was teaching about the medieval courts and what have you, and decided that he was going to have everybody dress up, and they were going to act out. They were going to spend a weekend in a medieval court. Well, they all enjoyed it so much, they carried it on. It is now a global organization. What do we got here from YouTube University going? We built a fort when I was in high school, deep in the woods. I mean, it was a high-class fort. Me and a few friends spent $6,000 on a party fort. Yep, has to be a high-class one. I'm presuming you had functionally safe. If that was a tree fort, I'm presuming you put safeguards in to stop people from falling out by accident. Not stop them from being pitched out or jumping, but... But no, the Society for Creative Anachronism basically reenacts the positive side of the Middle Ages. Not all the sewage in the ground and on the sidewalks and what have you. But it was way back. Like that was, I'd be 17 to 20 when I was running with them. But through them, you learned how to make armor, how to make weapons, how to utilize both, as well as the proper etiquette sort of thing. Yeah, that was pretty much the same time I did. I was 80 to 83. We had a war up here called the Clinton War, and the whole town it's not that they pitched in, but they opened the doors and were really welcoming to all of us. But this is just one of those things. Again, you set your mind to something, you can accomplish it. I have no idea. Honestly, Philip, I know there were a couple of people in the society that were Mongols. Now, you got to understand, the medieval society ranged, if I recall the numbers correctly, you could be in any part of the world, take on any persona from 600 AD to 1600 AD. I believe that was the range. And were there different groups that kind of had problems with each other? Certainly. That was part of the draw to it, if you will. But again, it boils down to, if you set your mind on doing something appropriately, something successfully, you focus on, you put the effort into it, absolutely get the guidance from other people, get the support from other people to make it happen. Absolutely imperative. Okay? Because I will tell you, there's very little on the planet that you cannot accomplish. Okay? Now, I'm starting to, I've already started, but where it comes to this empire I'm building, okay, I'm looking at the different things that I will add value. Okay, either in the way of merchandise, of services, of different contingencies and what have you, to help people on the whole feel better about themselves and work more effectively in their own communities. This is not to do everything the way I do it. Lord knows that's not possible in most cases. The reality of it for me is I literally look at the positive, the negative, and the midpoint all at the same time. I just happen to plan for the best, brace for the worst, and live for the moment. Absolutely they would, Philip. There were a number of people that were bards, that were pagan witch doctors, that were, because what they did was they went in as an herbalist. I knew a couple that literally made their own concoctions on site and then would turn around and sell them for real money. They had real businesses that were in fringe environments. We even had an old-fashioned brewer. Okay, he didn't distill his stuff. He brewed it at home and brought it with him. We had an old-fashioned potter that didn't use any electricity. Okay, he had a fire-stoked kiln, and he had a manual wheel to work with. Somebody mentioned that the other day. Okay, so we just settled. I mean, for me, this works out fine. It's like, okay, so I don't have to go out and deal with people. Well, that's a bonus. Although that will put an absolute lock barrel on my trying to make a trip down to Texas. Because I was supposed to do that in October, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Shadow's here, and Shadow says, I hear lockdowns are coming in September. Get the word out and stock up first. And you stock up first. I appreciate that because, well, frankly, I know how to do that. So I will deal with that side of it. I appreciate the heads up because the reality of it is, Shadow, even if the lockdown doesn't happen and we have the stock in the house already, you're still going to use it. I mean, God help us if we have another toilet paper shortage of 2020. Philip, yes, sadly, you're right. Yeah, I don't think lockdowns are going to work well with evacuations. Not well. And I somehow don't think Mother Nature is going to cooperate and go, oh, well, we'll forgive that and leave the buildings alone. I think that's kind of priceless, though. But no, for me, it's a real simple issue. It's one of these things that, you look at it going, okay, the nice part about it is keeping away from people does help. It really does. And from my standpoint, I'm reclusive anyway. It works out really well. But that being said, I was talking to people, and it was funny because when the vaccines all started, everybody's going, oh, get the vaccine. I'm like, why? And that's when I knew of a few that went, I got every vaccine update that they came up with, and we may lose power. If we do, I'm going to apologize ahead of time, guys, because we got power flickering. So that said, if I lose power, my apologies. But I knew one person, they got the vaccine, every booster, and every time they got the vaccine, they got COVID. I looked at them and went, bonus, it worked. From my stand, I don't know if my blood's pure, but I'm a firm believer if I don't have to go someplace, I won't. I've already figured out how to shop without leaving the house. So food is fine. I don't mind the issue of not actually going out and seeing people. That works out well. So I'll carry that on as far as I can. Worked the last time, and I mean, for pity's sakes, what we got here? I want to go to, Philip's going, I want to go to Texas too. More cowboy cowgirl culture. So I fit in better, especially with the Willie Nelson types. Yeah, see, I don't sing Where the Hoot. Well, actually, I do sing Where the Hoot. That's the problem. Where are we here? We are at... Oh, there we go. Who knows? But no, I do appreciate the heads up there, Shadow. But again, guys, if you do like the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing if you would be so kind. And what are we looking at here? I'm just checking numbers. I'm sitting at 538, which means if I look at it, I could have as many, like I've got 538 subscribers, but based on the hours on my dashboard, I could have as many as 3,000 people listening. Okay, if you are watching, if you take a look at the view time, but if you guys, or more to the point, when you guys have an idea of either like I said, I'm starting with a publishing company. Okay, if you have an idea of either services or paraphernalia as in merchandise that you feel may be beneficial, I'm not holding it to anybody, but ideas are certainly welcome. Okay, if you can drop me a line, or more to the point, if you'd be kind enough to drop me a line and give me ideas, this would be really appreciated. Okay. Yeah. Phil goes, I didn't mean singing. I was thinking how they're kind to everyone. Yeah, and that part I absolutely agree with. I don't see the point in being mean to people. I've run into one person in the last 40 years that I thought was an absolute doorknob and really don't have any use for him. Okay, but then he proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that not only was he prejudiced, he was also a liar and stupid. Okay, and did not understand any of it. So I just don't have a lot of tolerance for it. But in answer to something that other people have been saying, that you guys have been suggesting, I am going to be looking into I've got the program now, I just have to make the time for it, and post and get some shorter posts out. I have no idea what cowboy poetry is. I know what poetry is, but I have no idea what cowboy poetry was, except for the idea of, when you start going, sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me. I'm not entirely certain if that's what you call cowboy poetry, but it is twisted. Even when Johnny Carson was big, was a big name, I didn't watch a lot of talk shows, even with him. And I know a lot of people saw him as really good. I didn't even watch a lot of George Carlin, although I did find him twistedly comical. But I've got three different poetic anthologies I'm starting to look at putting together. I'm already designing them while I'm doing all the other writing. Thank you so much for joining us there, YouTube. I really appreciate you sharing your time. From my standpoint, it really boils down to this. I will do what I can to encourage people to follow their own dreams. Okay. Providing said dreams follow karmic law. I'm certainly not going to recommend somebody follows a dream about blowing something up or burning something down. When I was in high school, Dad did help me. We built a diorama of a small little forest scene. But what Dad did, one of the things he did was we took that forest scene out onto the gravel driveway, right? It was 10 feet away from either side of the driveway, set it down, and lit one corner of it on fire, just to show us how fire reacted. Which is why when this fire hit, I'm looking at it and going, I'm not going to worry too much about it, right? I do know how to respond to it, but I'm going to do my best to relax. Now, let's just double check something here. And I have absolutely no extra alerts coming in, which is a good thing. I didn't desire any more alerts coming in anyway. But those are a few of the words that I know for an absolute certainty. Bad karma is a pain in the neck. Okay. So the way I figure it, you follow karmic law. Be true to yourself first. I'm building an empire. And I already told Community Futures, the guy I was talking to there. I already told him, whether they support me or not, I'm making it happen. It may take a little longer, but I'm still making it happen. Okay. That's because that's what I desire. And of course, what I'm planning on doing there is taking 80% of the net profit and feeding it back into the community. Okay. Then, number 2, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Meaning, if you desire people to be honest with you, be honest with them first. It doesn't guarantee they will be honest, but it does stack the deck in your favor. Okay. And energy out, energy in. Meaning, whatever you put your effort into, whether it is positive or negative, that is what you're gearing up to draw back to you. So if you're planning on succeeding, be encouraging to other people. Okay. And this is one of the reasons why I turn around and go, okay, I've got another YouTuber that came in here, and I don't know if I fall under the category of YouTuber or not, other than I'm on YouTube and I go, But I figure when other YouTubers come on and they share their time with me, I'm certainly going to turn around and share it with them, share their name, or their link, more to the point. And this is the one that I very seldom see come in here, but I am constantly in contact with him. Okay, this is the link to David's show, to Spaced Out Radio. Okay, and again, drop by, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up, and do subscribe to the channel, and then share the daylights out of the thing. Because I'm telling you, working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But it is going to take some effort on everybody's part. What we've been looking at is very much a question of what can we do to help each other get our feet on the ground and start looking to a brighter tomorrow. There are bad things going on all over the place. There's a staggering amount of fear mongering going on. I mean, I was listening to the local reports, local fire reports, and we think this might happen. We think this bad thing may occur, and it's possible this bad thing may occur. The speculation on the negative is not helping anybody. Okay. Especially since they weren't going, this may occur, but we've already got contingencies in place in case it occurs. Just this may, it may jump this line here, and then we're in trouble. And we don't know what we're doing with it. Well, of course, they never said they didn't know what they were doing with it. But the fact that they didn't give anything to work with is a bit of a problem. And this is why when I'm offering a tool, I go, look, it has worked for me. It has worked for thousands of others. But the reality is it's reliant on your own personal efforts. Okay. And that's where it becomes a bit of a hiccup. Because many people, they really desire the success, but they don't desire to change. They want, more to the point, they desire their life to change, but they don't desire to change themselves. And that is a problem. And not to worry, guys. Once I'm done this, I swap over to straight water. Well, water and a little bit of lemon. And yeah, I did read the article. Oh, lemon water is bad for you. So it's breathing toxic gas, but I do that too. So what the heck? And by the way, you're breathing toxic gas a lot of the time too. They call it pollution. I know it's a big secret. You're not supposed to use that word. But the reality of it is, from my standpoint, if we stay focused on the positive side of things, on the things that we can do to help each other feel better, then we are going to be ahead of the game. Now, what do I got here? Just want to make sure. That's always entertaining. Oh, think we'll do that afterwards. I got a few not emails, but I've got a few things on LinkedIn that I have to deal with. Question for you guys. No, I already got that question answered. So right now, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook. And obviously I'm on YouTube. But I am going to start expanding, as in tonight or tomorrow. And like this week anyway, I will be expanding my social media interaction. Okay. And my social media print. It's amazing how many people. Oh, the question that I was about to ask, Philip, was of the social media and media platforms, which do you guys see? I don't even know what Mastodon is. And the answer to your question there, Philip, obviously is no. But is that mastodon.com? I'm just going to write it down anyway. Because, no, I am not on Mastodon. I'm also not on, what is it now? I think I'm on Pinterest and I haven't done anything, so I got to look into that. And I have been told that I should be on Instagram. It's neat, the one guy I was talking to was pretty cut and dried about getting onto every platform I can possibly get to. Although many people have said that, is it TikTok? Yeah, TikTok is apparently fine, running into all kinds of problems. I don't know. I have problems with everything, so what the heck? Oh, of course, I do have Snapchat, which is actually on my phone. But again, I haven't done a whole lot with them. This is one of those things I've been learning the hard way. Oh, okay. Any idea any idea on how to get a hold of it there, Philip? Let us just see here. If we go in on that. And what happens if we do this? There we are, Mastodon social media. Open source software for running self-hosted social networking. Oh, okay. Perfect. Don't know what half these other things are, but I can work with it. iOS, Android, Linux, BSD, Sailfish OS, Mac OS, and Microsoft Windows. This works out well. Available in 93 languages. Well, that's okay. I don't speak 93 languages. Well, I hope not. That would be disappointing. Actually, I know a couple of people that are on it, and I'll check with them just what kind of background it is. But if it's just something along the lines of Twitter, it's not a real big issue. My only concern is I don't need viri attached. Yeah, see, I speak actually bits and pieces of, well, I speak English, obviously. And then I speak bits and pieces of French, German, Japanese, Hausa, which is Northern Nigerian trade, and Spanish. Oh, okay. I absolutely appreciate the warning on that one. So, no, because I don't need that sort of thing. Matter of fact, I don't even desire that sort of thing. But no, I'm looking for the ones that are actually intelligent people. I'm also not interested in sites that are heavily into the BDSM program or the 8 Mile, the 8 Mile, gay program. It's not a question of I have anything against those people. I don't have anything against anybody. Okay. I have a problem with stupidity and with segregation. From my standpoint, I don't see the point. If you're not contributing something positive, why bother dealing with the negative? Now remember what we talked about there, football. Okay, there is no doubt that you will get older. Every person in existence will get older, but it's up to you whether you get old. Okay, for me, I got my first seniors discount when I was 46, simply because I had gray hair. Of course, when the woman jumped to the idea that I was a senior, I hate doing that. I am going to take this because this is my munchkin, so hang on half a second. You caught me still online, kiddo. Yep, he figured it too. Well, that worked out well. I will phone him back as soon as I'm done. I'm guessing I'm guessing he realized I was still online. But I would give him a call ASAP. But Blair goes, I thought you were male because of football. Dude, I live in Texas. I look at it this way. It's funny because I'm not a sports fan, period. But then you got to remember, I lost all that competitive side when I had my leg destroyed when I was 12. So I missed all of the sports years when I was growing up. All the time you usually get that competitive drive. I actually went down. I spent a week down in Texas, back a decade ago. Great people, love the weather, got a beautiful pair of boots. Only now it looks like I'm not getting back there. Now I'm hurt. No, I'm over that. But no, from my standpoint, it's a real simple little issue. Okay. I will reach out to anybody that is of a decent nature. The ones that are problematic, unfortunately, I don't have time to deal with them because I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. Only to say this works and you have the ability to make things happen. Yeah, that was my youngest son phoning. He's over at his mom's right now. And I'm guessing what happened was he phoned and then, I wonder. I'm guessing he phoned and then realized that I was still online. That I was still on live. And what do we got here? Well, I got no extra evacs that I listed here. So that's always handy. And that's what my son has been really keeping an eye on for us. Oh, there absolutely are there, Philip. I just have, because of the fact I don't leave the house much, I haven't really had to worry about boots. I do intend on getting another pair, don't get me wrong. I won't be buying flat shoes because every time I get into flat shoes, my knee goes backwards. See, I get a kick out of that, Philip. You go, I like the Alberta Boot Company. I like their marketing. Well, I will tell you, I'm not half as interested in somebody's marketing, aside from the methodology, as I am in the quality of their work. We used to have cobblers in town where if the heel on your boot wore out, you could get it resold. But that seems to be a dying art. At this point, where are we? We are right there. Okay, now we are hitting the 2-hour mark here, guys. So again, if you like the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. And don't forget, when you subscribe, remember to hit that alarm bell to let you know when it's coming up. When you look at the marketing, if you really want to look at some classic signs, take a look on the internet and look up the Arroyo hotel chain or motel chain. They are absolutely brilliant with the signs they put out on the reader boards. But no, I do appreciate you guys showing up and sharing your time with me. Thank you so much. But we are hitting the 2-hour mark. Today is Saturday, so I will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, though, is an open topic. Okay, because I don't plan anything for Sunday. That said, until we meet again, do take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.